My next guest was in the House Oversight Committee hearing today and says the IRS is now an institution that, in his judgment, is terminally ill. Joining us now is Congressman Ron DeSantis, member of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Thanks for having me.
I have to say, when that fellow sat in that chair and looked at Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth, I mean, that's one of the most infuriating images I've seen in a long time. I mean, how could you stand it?
Well, yeah, this is a guy who injured his foot when he was in military prep school, never served active duty at all, and yet 27 years later he claims a service-connected disability to be able to get preferential treatment and to qualify for these programs. So it was obviously a fleecing of the taxpayer and an abuse of his service disability. But I got to tell you, I'm a former prosecutor, and I've seen more people with the IRS take the Fifth Amendment than I did when I was prosecuting cases.
Right.
This is the second person in about 6 weeks that's done it. And the problem that I see with this is, one, the American people aren't getting answers, but two, when these individuals take the Fifth Amendment, we know that there was misconduct because that's plain to see. Nothing happens. This gentleman today was placed on administrative leave. He steered $500 million worth of contracts to his buddy, a company that had about $250,000 in total revenue before the IRS got involved.
Did he break the law, Congressman?
Oh, I think almost certainly there were laws that were broken. If you look at the relationship they had, if you look at the amount of money at stake, and if you look at the fact that this was a company that did not do very much business, and then all of a sudden
it wasn't even a year old, right?
Well, it had been for 2 years prior to this. It did about $250,000 in revenue each of those years. And all of a sudden in 2012, when the individual that you mentioned who claimed the disability purchased the company, they start getting millions and millions of dollars worth of IRS work. And so it's not above board. But the problem is we always see these things happen, and people in the IRS say, oh, well, we're identifying problems. We need more training. We need more this. The problem goes much deeper than that. It's a culture of arrogance. It's an institution that I think is in...
What are you guys going to do about it? I mean, what we're watching here, I mean, the IRS can't even apparently find, nor can this president find, a person to serve as a commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service. It's acting commissioner, interim commissioner, and this is an organization. You say they're terminally ill. When are you going to get this thing fixed and bring in somebody with the integrity to lead the organization, to get it straightened out? I mean, this is no longer, we've got 16,000 new agents being hired soon just for Obamacare.
Well, obviously, in the House, we would like to do a major overhaul. We'd like to hold these people accountable. We're limited. We're going to bring Lois Lerner back because I think she waived her Fifth Amendment right on Friday, and we're going to vote on whether she waived it. And I'm going to vote to say she waived it. She needs to answer the American people's questions. The problem, though, is that the executive branch is not really interested in investigating and holding people accountable. We had the director of the FBI in front of the Judiciary Committee a couple weeks ago. He did not even know who was leading the IRS investigation. That tells me the Department of Justice is not too concerned with this problem.
Well, and you said on the Judiciary Committee, you all have certain influences that you can bring to bear. This is going to have to be, it seems to me, if you feel that there is a lack of popular will around the outrage that is obviously built in Washington and other parts of the country, I mean, you've got to do something here in a different way. Perhaps faster, perhaps deeper in the investigation, more staff, more facts to put in front of the American people.
Absolutely. And then I think we also need to understand that from a policy perspective, I think the IRS is really past its point of usefulness. I think we need to move to a fair or a flat tax, give the government less power over the individual, and allow people to be able to make decisions for themselves. So then this way you wouldn't have to worry about some of these IRS officials misbehaving.
Congressman, I would love to have a fair tax, a flat tax, a set percentage, just like I think most Americans. But I think one of the surest ways to damage the investigation right now is for you all to get caught up in tax code reform when what you got to do is get rid of a bunch of snakes and a really lousy, corrupt management at the IRS.
Amen.
Thank you for being with us. Always good to talk with you. Good luck, Congressman Ron DeSantis. Up next, another trip.